Hello, my name is Dmitry, and today we're building perfect travel destination finder using hottest Next.js 13 app directory and OpenAI, ChatGPT and DALL-E. We will build a web application where you can specify your location, desired month, and some activity, for example surfing. And ChatGPT will suggest some perfect location for surfing in November. Our perfect destinations generated by ChatGPT. We have Indonesia, Morocco, Mexico, Philippines, Costa Rica. And descriptions, why is that we have to go into Bali for surfing. Also, we have beautiful images generated by DALL-E. So let's get into building it. First of all, we should head into a beta Next.js docs and copy line which will create new Next.js application. Let's paste it in our terminal. Name it Nomad AI because AI sounds cool. Yeah, we'll use TypeScript, ESLint. Yeah, I would like to use src directory. Yeah, we'll use @ as my alias, and it will do its job. After it's done, we can open it in our IDE. So we have in our basic Next.js application with the app directory and some dummy files. But we also will use Tailwind CSS in this project. Let's head into Tailwind CSS docs, where we can find setting up Tailwind CSS in Next.js project article. We will have to install some dev dependencies. I will install a bit more dev dependencies than in a guide, because I would like to have Tailwind animation delay, Daisy UI, Tailwind CSS typography. After it's done, we should initialize Tailwind CSS. It will add a few config files, and we should override our Tailwind config file. We should copy this piece of code and paste it in our Tailwind config.js. I will add a bit more lines of code because I'm using some plugins, Tailwind plugins, and Daisy UI theme called Synthwave. Also, we should include some Tailwind styles into our global CSS. We will remove default ones. Also, we will remove some folders that I'm not gonna use and styles. This stuff we're not gonna use. Outside main.js. Not gonna use it at all. So let's remove it. Let's have a div with a hello world. And let's see if it works. Let's run next dev. So we will have a dev server with our project. Where's the local host 3000s? Yeah, and we have our hello world in here. And purple background because it's a Daisy UI Synthwave theme. Let's start to develop our application. We will have to add some layout, some just basic layout, where we have in our theme and some flex, container width, and some basic stuff. So it will gonna affect our application a little bit. So as you can see, we now have a container here where we're gonna paste our actual HTML later on. So in our page, I would use some Daisy UI elements. Let's head into our Daisy UI components, and I'll use some just here a component. Let's copy JSX for it. Get back, and here we can have it just like that. Hello there. with the button and stuff. Let's check out how it works. It takes the whole space, and we got some dummy hero component. Let's keep it like that. Now we can add our types that I prepared. We have destination items that we will have our location, description, and image. That basically items that we're gonna render our list from. And search keys. We will search for location, month, budget, and activity. So that's our types. As you remember, on the top of our page we have a selector component. Let's create a directory for it, components. And we will have a component where we can select our location, month, and other stuff. Don't read the top of it, but it basically an client component where when you're using your hooks in Next.js 13, now you have to mark your components as client components, writing use client. So basically here we only have 4 variables, state variables with the location, month, budget, and activity value. As you can see on submit, we will prevent default event. We will check if we have location and month. If we don't have those values, we will return and not gonna update our values, I mean search params. And as you can see here, I'm building search params and I'm casting it to string, and I'm push router to force my navigation. As you can see, it's a just basic form. I have one input, text input for location, select for month select, and button where we can hit suggest. That's a type of submit to trigger submit event. And I have a select with activities and also input for your budget. So pretty basic stuff. Let's include it into our layout. So here we can add selector. I just call it selector. You can call it whatever. And as you can see, we have it on the top of our page. And when you fill it up, for example, now it's not gonna redirect us when I'm clicking suggest, but if I'll select month, for example August, it will redirect us to new page. I could use it with the search params, like in this Next.js demo. As you can see, you can click on new page, it will change search param, it will force our server component to get new data and get it back to our client, but it's not possible currently. So it's nicely done in the demo, but it will not trigger loading animation. And I'm actually tracking the bug itself, like cold navigation, changing just search params doesn't trigger loading TSX. That's why I'm talking about it. We have to create new page, dynamic page. We will create a new directory called query, and instead of query params, I'll put dynamic params into a page props. So we will do a new file called page tsx and export default async function suggest list page. Well, we can return just in a diff at the moment with no data. And in here we will have props with the params, where we will have this query, which will have dynamic query. It will be a type of string formatted with a prettier, and check out how it will work. Well, let's console log our query params. Let's clear up the buffer and get back into our page. As you see now, we have an empty page. Let's hit it one more time, and as you see, we're getting no data here, but in our console log we have our location, Chisinau, month, August, and so on. We have our data formed as a query string. So that's not a big deal, but we will have to use it like that to get our animation back into place. And now we're actually having our server-side component, which will be triggered on each change of our location or month. Here we will ask ChatGPT in this page. We will ask ChatGPT to get our data. How are we gonna do it? Let's head into our libraries. As you can see, we will have to install a new package called OpenAI. Let's open terminal and install OpenAI. Yeah, of course. OpenAI. And it's in place. Now we should copy this instantiation of an API, OpenAI, I mean, and on each render we can now call ChatGPT. So here let's just console log our response, data, choices, text. So here will be stored our text that we will get from create completion. Yeah, and also you can spot here an OpenAI API key. So inside process env, it means it's our environment variable. So we should create env.local and put it here. But where we will get our API key? You should get into a platform, openai.com, log in with your account, head into view API keys. I got one already, but I'll generate new one. You hit create new key, copy it over and hit OK. I'll delete old one and I paste new one in my env local file. So now Next.js will pick up this environment variable and paste it in here. So it will be accessible in here. Let's rerun our dev to pick up environment variable and see what ChatGPT can respond to us. Let's refresh page. And you see that's a response from ChatGPT. But actual model we're using now it's Text DaVinci. And we would like to have actually ChatGPT model. So we should call OpenAI create chat completion. And here we should define an the model, but if you don't remember the name of a model, you can go OpenAI models. And as you see, we have a bunch of it, but we would like to use ChatGPT 4 already in here, but I'm not able to call it at the moment. We will use ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo. Instead of prompt, we should pass a message array, messages with the role user and some content. Make a list of top places to travel as a digital nomad from London in June to do surfing with a budget of $1,000 once. Display informative location description. That's exactly what I want. Thank you, Copilot. So many eyes nowadays. And let's check out what will be our response. Like that. As you see, it only says Bali Indonesia, but because I have max tokens value of 7 and I would like to increase it way more, and we will have an actual response now. Let's refresh our page and wait for a response. As you see, we have a full list of the destinations in the format that I specified, and we can parse it, get location out of it, ask DALL-E to generate an image based on our location, and return it back to our front end. How we're gonna do it? We will just paste some new code in here, reformat it with prettier, and let's check what we got now. Let's import missing type, and as you see, we're getting an input from our params.query. As I know that type of search params, I'm creating new search params, and from path name params, I'm getting my actual values, doing object from entries. I'm checking if I have location and months inside my input. If not, I'll return no data. If I'll have it, I'm creating my prompt. Make a list of top 5 places to travel as digital nomad from location, Chisinau, in month November. If I have activity, I'll add activity to the prompt. If I have budget, I'll add with budget of my budget value per month and explain why. In format, location, description. So I'm sure that I have the same format all the time and I can parse it. Later on, I'll do stringify. I'll get out some unneeded data from the string. I'll go over entries, like I'm having 5 destinations. For each entry, as you remember, we having, let's get the first entry, for example, in our terminal. Location and the destination and description separated by dash. So I'm going to split it by dash, and I'll get location with number, like first, Bali, Indonesia, and description, the whole other thing. Next, what I'm gonna do, I'll split it by dot, so I'll get 1 on the left, and Bali, Indonesia will be a second entry in my array. I'll ask my DALL-E API to generate best place in Bali, Indonesia. Here we have location, best placed in location, and it could be whatever location. And I'll have an image output, and I'll push everything into destination array, and I would like to render something based on my destination array. Performance of this function could be improved. As you can see, I'm doing it in the for loop. I'm waiting for each entry, and those could be resolved in the parallel by using promise await promise all, but I'm not gonna use it at the moment. And if you actually like it, I may do a better version of this application and production ready version of this application and deploy it into Vercel, so you can play with it, and leave a comment down below if you would like me to deploy it into Vercel. So yeah, that's basically it. So we can observe now our destination array, for example, in console log. Let's clear buffer. So as you can see, we have our data formatted as I expected. So we have location, Chiang Mai, Thailand, description, why Chiang Mai is the best place to go from Chisinau, and an image, as you can see, that's a generated image of a Chiang Mai, what DALL-E thinks how Chiang Mai looks like. I don't know. So now we can render it. So we could do just return some basic Daisy UI components, card component, and import image component. So as you see, I'm going over destination array. I'm getting location, description, and image, and I'm just rendering and card component, the Daisy UI card component. Let's check it out. But first of all, let's actually fix our styles a little bit in text. Not the full width, but flex 1, so it will occupy the given space, and ask user to fill form above, and hit suggest to get your hit suggest to get your perfect destination. And we don't have any buttons in here. So yeah, we have it full screen. Let's fill it up. October and snowboarding. And it may looks like it's stuck when I'm clicking on suggest, but it's not like that, because we have in our server side React component which already does the job, but it takes some time, and we would like to have some animation. How we can do our animations? We can have an loading TSX component inside our page, which will be triggered every time that I'm heading into our page and waiting for a response from suggest leads page. So let's try to do one more time. And as you see, we already have in our animations. And let's expect error actually. So in Next.js, if we're working with remote images, we should add remote patterns into our Next.js config. Let's do it real quick. And Next.js config, like that, and let's copy over our API link. Let's remove it and restart the job. Let's do it one more time. So this time, New York, November, chilling on the beach, and I have this amount of money per month. As you see, we triggered our animation and waiting for response. And we got our responses. We have Mexico, Indonesia, Thailand, Mexico again, and Bali. Again Bali, but different destinations. So as you see, ChatGPT aware of our budget and month and what we're gonna do there. DALL-E generated beautiful images for us. Look at those. Those places not actually exist, I guess, but it just to attract some tourists, you know. Good job, DALL-E. So that's it for this tutorial. And if you would like me to deploy it somewhere, I could do a better version of this app and deploy it to Vercel. So I'm waiting for your comments down below if you would like me to do that. And it was it for this video. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.